High Commissioner, Headmaster, Governors, distinguished guests, Vice Presidents, ladies and gentlemen, and most of all, Bromsgrovians. This year, the school report will appropriately be given by the head of the senior school after his first full year in the post. So it's for me to give you all a warm welcome, and it's an honour and a pleasure to have so many distinguished guests with us. Vice Presidents, old Bromsgrovians, local dignitaries, and those from further afield. Those on the platform and those seated today a few rows back from their usual position so that those in the front row can come under the beady eye of the headmaster. Our guests and their spouses are no less important for where they're seated. Without their wonderful support, Bromsgrove would be a much less vibrant institution. We're particularly pleased to have with us today the New Zealand High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Sir Lockwood Smith and Lady Alexandra, and we ask him to relay back to that fine country where my wife and I spent some happy days earlier on this year. We thank them for sending us their finest headmaster to mastermind the continued success of this school. What an honour it was to have our visitor, the Bishop of Worcester, giving the sermon at the Founders' Day service early this morning, and his message of glorious failure will be a lasting memory for many of our leavers. The occasion was made all the more memorable by the singing of the choir and the congregation. At Commemoration, we acknowledge the generosity of benefactors, past and present, and celebrate achievements, not just the successes of individual students, but the fulfilment of goals which ensure that Bromsgrovians benefit from the finest of education. Of course, that education is about outstanding academic results and winning places at the finest universities. And you'll hear later that in those respects, Bromsgrove is up with the very best. And yes, it is about the broadest programme of co-curricular activities and achieving excellence in it. But we celebrate not only because we achieve results across a range of sports which put us among the nation's top schools, but because the superb facilities and dedicated coaching enable all our young people to take advantage of opportunities which bring a real breadth to their education. And this is as much in social and cultural activities as it is in physical activities. As just one example, in music there are some 30 teachers and 12 groups in regular rehearsals, and with the ongoing development of Routh Hall into a magnificent concert hall and music performance area, a project close to my heart, music education and performance will expand in quantity and quality in the coming years. The same is true of the other performing arts and co-curricular activities. But however good these outcomes, complacency is not an acceptable word in the Bromsgrove vocabulary. There's a constant striving to improve. Celebration is an important aspect of this ceremony, and it comes well to me at the moment as a Welshman who lives in the catchment area of Leicester City. So there we are. Spectacular successes like winning the National Schools Rugby competition for a second successive year, or the best ever IB results, and I understand our BTEC results have been superb, already out for this year, are wonderful things to celebrate. But just as important is knowing that the school is achieving its mission to produce happy, creative, moral citizens who live motivated, fulfilled lives while enriching the lives of others. I wrote this a little while ago, and I was amazed to find that the very same words were used by Mrs. de Valsmith in the prep school commemoration celebrations yesterday. And I think it's something which is terribly important to us, that we see people who are developing the right values here. Many students willingly put service to others and to the school above satisfying personal goals, as you'll hear in the citations given for the prize winners in a little while. Bromsgrove is as proud of students who demonstrate that they have absorbed the school's core values as we are of those who reach starry heights in more spectacular fields. In the many years in which I've served in the world of education, I've found very few schools which offer a better environment in which our chosen core values of humility and confidence, compassion and ambition, respect and curiosity, tolerance and vision can be fostered. As a school, we aim to balance the number of boys and girls, of day and boarding pupils, national and international students, and call on students from 45 different countries and with a wide variety of experience and personal qualities to help to establish these core values. Our students would be the first to say that their achievements would be so much less great were it not for the guidance, support and friendship given by their teachers, who go many a mile beyond what might be reasonably expected of them. While they enjoy fulfilling careers at Bromsgrove, their efforts involve no little personal sacrifice. The staff, both academic and support staff, along with the headmaster and his executive team, and may I especially link that with Leslie Brooks, our bursar, who's now returned to us, we are very pleased to see, but all of those deserve our special thanks and congratulations. The role of school governor has become more and more demanding, not just because of changes in law and practice introduced by the government, but because of the expectation of parents, students, staff, and indeed the governors themselves. The governors of 1993, when I first arrived on the scene, would hardly recognise the school of today, not only for all the physical changes and the sheer number of students, but also because of the range of academic and co-curricular activities, and the international dimension. We have said farewell and thanks to long-serving and hard-working governors like Professor Perry, who I see is here today, and to Andrew Hodge, and we now welcome new governors, Mrs. Loynton and Mrs. Waltier, and look forward to the part that they will play in a fine team to meet the challenges which lie ahead. With the dining hall and the day houses refurbished, efforts can now concentrate on performing arts and on developing new relationships with Winterfold, along with any international initiatives. Whatever the messages given by the vote to leave the European Union, and I know you're all taking bets on who is going to be the first to mention that, the school looks forward to strengthening its international dimension. We greatly value our international students. No team of governors can work effectively without a good leader, and over the years we've been fortunate at Bromsgrove. This has been particularly obvious in recent years in the lead given by our current chairman, Stuart Toe, who is about to hand over the baton to Paul West. A proper tribute will be delivered later, but as president, I must record my thanks for the way Stuart has handled not only the difficult issues, but the most remarkable period of expansion in the history of this school. I am sure you would want to thank not only Stuart Toe, but all the governors for their selfless service to the school. Just as I invite Mr. Hallows to give his report, I close with congratulations to all the students, and particularly the leavers and prize winners, for all you've achieved at Bromsgrove, and wish you successful careers and fulfilling lives. Well done, and good luck.
Thank you, President. Governors, Headmaster, honoured guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honour to present the review of another magnificent year in the proud history of Bromsgrove School. one in which the forensic eye of the Independent Schools Inspectorate has rightly judged our provision to be excellent in every respect. Excellence, however, is not perfection, and we will continue to strive to improve everything that we do for the pupils. I'm tasked with doing justice to the events and achievements associated with the school lives of some 950 pupils over 250 days within a curriculum of outstanding choice and across an activities programme that is without parallel. Under the gaze of governors, the headmaster, colleagues, parents and pupils. No pressure then. Our pupils are able to achieve what they do because of the strong foundations which their school lives are built upon. Firstly at home, then with houses run by dedicated and caring teams, led with kindness and compassion by house parents, as the heartbeat of school life. The House Match programme has continued to promote friendly rivalry and house passion at every turn, and a measure of the spirit within the houses is the willingness of the pupils to compete for bragging rights in every competition and the pride with which they collect their spoils in assemblies. A particular highlight this year was the Vibrant House Song competition. It is not the natural domain of the adolescent to sing to an audience of 1,000 peers, but they do so with conviction and spirit. There were gymnastics, falsettos and fancy dress to complement the inventive, if not convincing, dance moves. Not quite the stereotype of today's youth. Assemblies and chapel services have ensured that successes have been celebrated and time has been created for reflection on significant themes and events. For all the voguish talk of mindfulness, chapel is the time and space for everyone to explore their thoughts and beliefs. Our pupils appreciate the privilege of the Bromsgrove education, their poignant observance of silence for all acts of remembrance in this tumultuous year, as well as the way they hung on every word of Aung San Suu Kyi's personal aid, were testament to their appreciation of the trials faced by others. Our inspection report noted our unusually broad curriculum. The statistics relating to the performance of our pupils in relation to their native potential are simply stunning. My thanks to Mr. Rubin for the following feast of statistics for summer 2015. You may have heard this before, but it bears repeating. 60% of A-level entries were at least an A. Over 80% at least a B grade, with none of the 567 entries achieving less than a D. IB students averaged 38.7 points, which is equivalent to more than 4 A stars. And in the BTEC, 39 of the 41 students attained a star distinction, which is equivalent to A-level A star. This year's Upper 6th achieved the best ever AS results, while GCSE results averaged 61% A star A. Only the third time since records began that we have broken the magical 60% threshold. Statistical analysis showed that Bromsgrove students outperformed the vast majority of students at other schools at all levels. Some feat when you consider our illustrious sporting, cultural and artistic achievements. I should note that our curriculum has no soft options. Demanding subjects, eager pupils, committed teachers and high expectations create the educational alchemy. Beyond the academic achievements, the pupils have worked with flair and panache, and they have almost all had an exceptionally studious year. The strong results that pupils can look forward to this year will be the product of self-awareness, hard graft, intellectual maturity and constructive self-criticism. Newcomers are quick to note the way in which their contemporaries are committed to their studies. The last academic year was simply stunning and saw the school successfully nurture our students' intellectual lives for the adult world that awaits them. We wish all pupils success in the summer when their results are published. The top universities presume that the best students have mastered the syllabus content, but they also demand character and a deep love of the subject. Departments led by inspirational heads continue to develop ingenious and inspiring opportunities for the pupils. Visits to the chief designer for Jaguar Land Rover, inspiring university visits, networking events, subject Olympiads and many national competitions have encouraged the pupils to go beyond and to stretch their horizons. We are preparing young people for jobs that don't yet exist, requiring technologies that haven't yet been invented to solve problems of which we are not yet aware. The rich lecture programme, vibrant culture of debate add much to this preparation. Forensic pathology, insights into the teenage mind, post-referendum decision making are just a small sample of the opportunities that the children have seized upon. 60% of our leavers from last year are now at prestigious Russell Group universities. 30% are at world top 50 universities. On stage, our fourth form production of The Musicians had the audience transported to the concert halls of Russia as a result of convincing and mature performances from all of the cast. They saved their best for the prestigious stage of the Birmingham Repertory Theatre. The Sweeney Todd production was simply sublime. The senior performers gave all to every performance, and we were, for 2 hours, transported to the squalor of those Victorian city streets. The evident glee in those murderous performances was somewhat unsettling. As many of you will know, from this morning and previous formal services this year, the chapel choir can lift the heaviest heart. They have fulfilled their own fixture list in a number of prestigious venues with performances of the highest quality. The old chapel has been a superb setting for a striking variety of informal concerts. The tea time slot is the perfect tonic at the end of the day, and my thanks go to all of the performers who have taken the brave step into the spotlight, often as soloists, to perform with such maturity. When asked for a highlight this year, a musician was quick to pick the strings concert with Year 3 pupils, a perfect illustration of the importance of thinking as one school and ensuring that our youngest pupils are appropriately linked to the superb role models provided by the seniors at every opportunity. The pop and jazz concert gave us another packed programme of vibrant performance, as did the Chinese concert, which was a thrilling insight into the vibrant Asian pop music scene. At every one of these performances, audiences have comprised the ever-present parent supporters, colleagues who genuinely love to see pupils perform, and members of the governing body who so willingly give their time to support these events. It is a testament to their enduring service that one governor could recall our esteemed leavers on Thursday night in their final performance as little boys and girls in their prep school performances some years ago. Our pupils are modest regarding their achievements. You can teach someone for weeks and they never mention that they are in a national age group squad, a national champion, or other elite performer. Their collective efforts have placed Bromsgrove School at number 4 in the top 100 schools in the UK for sport. This is the product of the collective will to win, and we should not underestimate the desire of other schools to seize the bragging rights in every single one of the hundreds of fixtures which have taken place in a multitude of sports. Of course, our traditional programme of sport is thriving, and it can only do so as a result of the willingness of the pupils at every level to turn out for fixtures. Thank you to the vast number who have taken up the call to wear the shirt and to represent the cause with honour and pride. We're a growing force on the badminton courts, in the pool and on the table tennis table. Basketball has been a thrilling spectacle. And whilst the first 15 have been a formidable presence on the pitch, they could learn much from the girls who are such fierce competitors on the netball courts and the hockey pitches. It was fitting for the under-14 girls netballers to be awarded the Team of the Year trophy yesterday. Our cricketers have fared on the circuit and we are double county champions. Our athletes have turned in some wonderful performances against the best school competition this term. An afternoon at the Ryland Centre is time well spent. Our president said last year that the performance at Twickenham was probably the finest moment in Bromsgrove's sporting history. President, in light of the fact that every team we met this year will have worked even harder to claim the scalp of the reigning champions, and that we met possibly the biggest boys team I have ever seen in the final, I respectfully suggest that this year's achievement of retaining the trophy might just have taken that honour. They have been mentioned already, but I cannot review the year without paying my own tribute to a simply remarkable group of young men who have represented the school with honour. Such unity, character and love of the game are the epitome of the best qualities of school sport. This year is made all the more special by the presentation of a rare honour, only the 8th time in 50 years. The Triple Cap Cup has been presented to James Taylor, who has earned caps in all 3 major boys' sports. In a school with such a high standard of first-team sport, and in this era of sport-specific training and elite programmes, this feat is simply remarkable and fully deserved. The year began with the most wonderful and diverse reports from far-flung destinations of the work of Bromsgrove pupils. At every turn and throughout the year, these trips have been led by dedicated staff, and in every location, our pupils have left happy footprints. The Lower 4th Bromsgrove Badge Programme is integral to the engagement of pupils in the full range of activities and is a powerful advert for the joys that lie ahead in subsequent years. Its carefully constructed range of activities which challenge the pupils throughout the year develop all the character traits that we would identify of those of the true Bromsgrovian. 2 highlights, the Malvern Hills Walk and the Lower 4th Camp. Every challenge has been embraced. The CCF programme is thriving, and we are proud of the cadets and their achievements. The Duke of Edinburgh, it is no exaggeration to say that we have presented a stunning number of awards this year. The pupils are given the strongest encouragement to participate, and they respond with vigour. Service, charity and community feature strongly in the lives of pupils. Bromsgrove life extends deeply into many facets of the community, whether it's the chamber choir at Malvern Priory, the installation of a messy kitchen at Chadsgrove School, collaborative artwork with recovering stroke victims, environmental work in Prague or relief work in Africa. The pupils show that they will adapt to any demand. Their attitude gives us the confidence to continue to develop our unparalleled programme of opportunities even further. Bags were packed in supermarkets, shoeboxes filled with presents, seed capital of £65 was transformed to £1,500 in support of charity. The pupils were at the vanguard of these activities. We followed the Young Enterprise team with great admiration, and they swept up a hatful of awards over the course of the year. Our debaters have done the school proud. Many of you will have heard of the Chicken, our electric car. A tight-knit team have tinkered with the technical specifications of the car with great success. The only downside has been the appalling punnery of the staff. Chicken crasherole, anyone? I would encourage one and all to see the artwork and the design work exhibited today. It is of a stunning quality and vibrancy. It has been a remarkable year for the school. I haven't mentioned the strength of relationships, the purposeful air of the school in full swing, the hushed reverence of the school gathered en masse, the buzz of friendly chat in the dining room, less so at breakfast, the simple courtesies and kindness that punctuate the day. I could go on, but I will leave you with an elegant sufficiency. But I cannot resist sharing with you my absolute highlight of the year, which is not the chaplain preaching in his Leicester City onesie. when our pupils have ventured into the real world as groups. Their visit has been swiftly followed by contact from a member of the public to compliment those pupils on their outstanding behaviour. The pupils have been the epitome of the school's values and can be proud of their individual contribution to this 1 year in the school's long and proud history. Thank you to colleagues for their hard work, and best wishes to those who leave us for pastures new, and a special thank you to all pupils too. 2015-2016 has been a very good year. Thank you.
That brief moment of panic when you look for your speech and you can't see it. Sir Lockwood Smith and Lady Alexandra Smith, High Commissioner of New Zealand, tēnā koutou katoa. Chairman Stuart Toe and governors of Bromsgrovians, colleagues, parents and pupils. One of the most pleasant parts of this job is to host reunions of old Bromsgrovians. Last year I had the delight of sharing a lunch with a group of older gentlemen who had been in the school in the 40s and 50s. And they were reminiscing around the lunch table very warmly about the school, remarkable clarity of memory. And I asked them about the headmasters of their time. There had been two, and I'm not going to name them. And they were glowing about one, but quite scathing of the other. A very cruel man, they said, a wicked man. And my heart missed a beat. I had visions of brutal, violent punishments and beatings. And so I asked with some trepidation what they meant, and they said, he spoke for hours and hours. And then one of them reached a frail hand across and gripped my arm in a steely grip and said, do you still give a speech at Commem? And I said, yes. And he said, well, do everybody a favour and keep it to an hour and a half. So I hope you're comfortable. I'm joking, of course. But if you are comfortable right now and later on, and if you are enjoying the remarkable organisation that has gone into today's celebrations, and if you're as proud as I am of how good the school looks, then you might take some time during the day to thank and acknowledge the extraordinary team of support staff who feel as passionately about this place as every member of the teaching staff, and who have worked tirelessly today and in recent weeks to prepare the school for their festivities. And while I'm at it, let me pay public tribute to the leadership of all of those people by that human dynamo, Ms. Scannell, and also the welcome return, as the President has said, of the bursar, whose formidable abilities I have sorely missed this year and whose determination has been an inspiration. So thank you. My thanks also to Mr. Hallows for his fine summary of the senior school and its many successes this year. The fabric of Bromsgrove is a complex weave, and as we go about our daily lives, we find ourselves often very focused on our own individual thread. So how rewarding to step back as a whole school family and review the entire tapestry, and I thank him for his eloquence. I join in congratulating every staff member and every pupil who has contributed to the warp and the weft of this school's tapestry, and I especially thank Mr. Hallows for his commitment during his first year as head of the senior school. As the departing upper sixths are about to discover, it is no easy feat to transition to a new environment, especially when your role is newly created and in need of establishment, and particularly in a place as tight-knit and fast-paced as Bromsgrove School. Yet Mr. Hallows has quickly brought his skills and talents to bear, probably no better example than his experience as an inspector paying off when our own inspection occurred in February. And for those who've had an early glimpse of his musical talents, you will know that he has plenty to offer our performing arts ambitions in the future. So please join me in thanking the head of the senior school. Of course, that senior school tapestry just makes up part of the larger fabric of Bromsgrove, which this year has included equal lustre in our prep and pre-prep schools. And as has been acknowledged already, that excellence was confirmed in our ISI report. One of our great strengths as a school remains our consistency and continuity of experience across all ages, and nothing warms my heart more than references to the participation of seniors with junior pupils, as was referenced in Mr. Hallow's speech. We are, as Mrs. Lavelle-Reid and Mr. Hallows and I continually repeat, one school. This year, of course, we've added more strands to that school. The suburb dining hall renovation has been completed. 4 of our historic day houses have been refurbished. The International Centre has taken up new residents in the old police station. And Ms. Bunak tells me that means she now works for Interpol. Looking to the future, construction, of course, has now commenced on that major performing arts project, which will provide all of the school's pupils with access to a new music school and 2 world-class performance venues, a concert hall and a studio theatre, both with seating for 300. And of course, beyond the campus, we have now completed our merger with nearby Winterfold House School and are currently in partnership to provide education to students in Shenzhen in China. So, plenty to be proud of, much to look forward to in the year ahead. Which leads me to pose a question to the upper sixth. And I hope that the rest of you will forgive me as I do. Those who were at Commem last year know that it is my habit to take this opportunity to make one final comment to the departing seniors. And my sincere apologies to VIPs who've been shuffled back a few rows, but I do want to see the whites of their eyes one last time. Maybe what I have to say will hold some interest for the rest of you, but if not, feel free to tune out for 10 minutes, plan your summer holiday, dream of moving to Iceland. I wasn't going to, but I was so tempted when Reverend Khan told me, as we left the solemnity of the St. John's service this morning, he told me a joke. He said, an Englishman, an Irishman and a Scotsman walk into a bar. The Welshman's still in France. So now I've done it. We've got it out of the way. Anyway, upper sixth. You've heard just now from Mr. Hallows that things are going swimmingly in the school. The future looks rosy, and yet you are departing. You have voted to leave. You have a few hours before you exit Bromsgrove, your own little Bromsit. So here's my question. Are you mad? Are you insane? What makes you think you're ready for all of this independence? To be out there in the big scary world all by yourself, to break away from the continent of Bromsgrove and bob around as a little island all on your own. What's that all about? Is it the economic freedom? Really? If you thought school fees were bad, wait till you go to university. Not only do you have to pay your dues, they've got this nasty little surprise waiting for you called rent. Plus, the word on the financial markets is that the bank of mum and dad is about to stop lending. So if you're not voting leave for economic reasons, maybe it's the sovereignty thing. Do you hanker to be autonomous? Be the captain of your own ship, the master of your destiny, free from the dining hall queues and the repressive shackles of the 6-inch rule. No longer a slave to Pantone 201. No more of Miss Scannell's gentle whispers suggesting you might like to lengthen your skirt or straighten your tie. Okay, possibly I can get that. But look what you're giving up. Look at this lot over here in the Remain camp. They can be confident of continued stability, the security of being in a school which has thrived for over 450 years, teachers who genuinely care for them, the chance of friendships forged across cultures, the certainty of fish and chips on Friday. So back to my question. Do you know what you're doing? You want autonomy and independence, but what will you do with it when you get it? Are you up to it? Well, apparently yes. Turns out you are a very enlightened group of people. Every civilization and every culture throughout history has had adults traditionally bemoaning the declining standards and excessive behaviour of the younger generation. Yet according to an in-depth study reported by the BBC last week, you lot are breaking records for good behaviour for maturity, for social restraint. You are apparently the best behaved generation since the rebellions of the 60s, which would be my generation. The statistics are striking. Those aged under 25 are a third more likely to be teetotal now than in 2005. 1/4 of you do not drink at all. Illegal drug use amongst the under 25s has fallen by more than 1/4 since 2004. The number of nightclubs in this country have almost halved since 2005. Teenage pregnancy is at its lowest since records began in 1969, and the number of crimes committed by under 18-year-olds in England and Wales has fallen by 70%. 70% since 2005, a new record low according to the National Office of Statistics. So aren't you all just a lot of goody two-shoes? Apart from your bizarre desire to graffiti your bodies with tattoos, you're practically perfect. So maybe you are ready to go it alone. But remember this: with autonomy comes accountability. Your parents have sacrificed much to give you the privilege of an outstanding education. Your teachers have invested heavily in your talents. Younger pupils in your houses have played and sung and served under your leadership. If you leave with obligation. From those to whom much has been given, much is expected. Of course you must leave the school. Everyone does. We work every day, from pre-prep to senior school, to prepare you for this moment. But what you do next will determine our success as well as yours. We have endeavoured to instill in you an appreciation of diversity and tolerance of other people, a pride in your country, and an equal respect for others. Yours is the generation to inherit Brexit. Love it or hate it, but for all of our sakes, make it work. Leave, but continue to uphold the values of those who remain here at Bromsgrove. Have a sense of justice. You know what I'm going to say. Have an opinion. Have the courage of your convictions. Do not stand on the sidelines, a spectator in a virtual world. Do not be a meek employee. Do not be a distant spouse or an uncaring passerby. Do not be satisfied living mediocrity. Do not lead insulated lives. Honour us with the mark that you make in society. Be leaders in your world, whatever that world is and whatever type of leadership that is. And on the topic of leadership, in light of the events of this past week, let me say this. For those of you who may be drawn into politics, and I deeply believe that many in this room will be, I have a special plea. Do not follow the example that has been set for you these past months in Britain. In the times that I have spoken to you, in chapel and in Ralph, I have praised the traits of leadership that I hold dear: humility, honesty, selfless service, dignity, moral courage. Sadly, there has been precious little of that exercised by many politicians across the political spectrum during the debate and the chaos that has followed. Now, that is not a criticism of politicians per se. Most people enter politics with admirable intent, and many achieve great things. I'm deeply honoured to have as a guest today the New Zealand High Commissioner, Sir Lockwood Smith, who was a member of the New Zealand Parliament for 29 years, including 6 as the Minister of Education. In fact, in my 30 years as an educator, I have known no better Minister of Education. But for 6 of those years, he was also in the invidious job of keeping politicians in order as the Speaker of the House of Parliament, a job which at times seemed akin to being the sole charge teacher of 200 unruly 5-year-olds. I'm sure he too would look in dismay at the behaviour of some of our public figures in recent times. So politicians can occasionally lose the plot. Some aspects of the Brexit campaign sank to new lows. Lies, name-calling, disloyalty, thinly disguised racism and xenophobia, and both camps were equally guilty. We lost the plot. And I say we because that was my generation. However history may judge the outcome of the decision to leave the EU, we did not serve you well as role models for respectful, reasoned, and reasonable debate. Thankfully, your generation already seems much more mature. You've already looked at past generations and drawn your own conclusions about the perils of smoking and drinking and drug use and sexual immorality. You are fine young people, and as you sit in front of me now, I know you are already eclipsing prior generations. My fervent hope is that you carry that maturity into adulthood, that your generation does a better job than mine. So as you leave, you would do well to reflect on the words of one of this nation's greatest poets, John Donne, who wrote, "No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main." No man is an island. Perhaps in our modern global age, no island is an island either. From Brexit to Bromsgrove, we never truly leave a community that we have been part of. Threads run through our lives and weave us all together. My favourite line from our inspection report still resonates loudly for me. They wrote, "This school is a model of harmonious coexistence." Take that thread as you leave and weave it around the globe. Because as you leave us physically today, yet you still remain. You are old Bromsgrovians now, and you shall be for life. We are part of you and you of us. And in years to come, your successors will honour those who taught you. Likewise, the school's continuing good fortunes will be yours in which to share. We join your parents, the teachers and I, in having a vested interest in your future. You may be leaving, but we will remain in you and you in us. Take your independence, but never forget where it was forged. Thank you. Come now to the awarding of our prizes, and I would like to invite our Chairman of Governors, Mr. Toe, to present them. I should point out that at the end of this prize list there are 5 about which the recipients have no knowledge, so we'll come to those shortly. But we begin with the Wattel prizes. English, Anastasia Broder. History, Olivia Robbins. Religious Studies, Sophie Greensmith. German, Daria Nazlitscheva. French, Alice Vaughan. Spanish, Alice Vaughan. And Latin, Alice Vaughan. Business Studies, Harriet Gosher. Politics, Edward Hadlington. Geography, Lois Bezic. Economics, Lois Bezic. Mathematics, Tommy Shee. Graphics DT, Zibo Zhang. Art, Zibo Zhang. Art Textiles, Selina Hato. Physical Education, Jack Bewick. And Physics, Rashid Kashiv. We move now to the other academic prizes. Dr. Johns, I apologise, I know I've gone off piste. Just go with it. William Ledbrook Prize for Biology, Rashid Kashiv. Amphlett Prize for Chemistry, Niall Simmons. Philip Denham Cooks Prize for Drama, Nairi Williams. The John Headley Memorial Prize for the CCF is awarded to Dominic Hegarty. Turner Memorial Prize for Music, Emily Smith. And the Alison Bramley Memorial Prize for Mathematics, Emily Smith. And the Chater Pepper Prize for Classics, Abigail Henderson. The Geoffrey Lewins Prize for Technology, Alexandra Evans. The Hausman Verse Prize, Chloe Walsh. Staff Reading Prize, Abba Abba. And the Junior Staff Reading Prize, Nandini Belchandani. We move now to the special prizes. Acknowledgement for an outstanding leadership team who were rightly acknowledged yesterday at Mark Reading. Firstly, senior boarders Christoph Lynn and Nairi Williams. Deputy Head Boy and Deputy Head Girl, Alex Nisbet and Brittany Colley. And finally, to our head boy and girl, if I can make this joke one last time, our own royalty, Will and Kate. Will Lockhart and Kate Egerton. We move now to the 5 highest accolades, and as I say, the recipients of these 5 awards are not aware of their nomination. We begin with the Tony Limbett Award. The Tony Limbett Award is presented each year to the person who most closely epitomises everything that Tony himself represented: commitment, determination, endeavour and loyalty. The recipient of the award this year is an extremely talented and able all-rounder who has excelled and done great service to the school. Extremely unassuming, with a commitment to school sport that is second to none. Always giving 100% regardless of the task ahead, showing excellent sportsmanship on and off the field. An international sportsman, he's been the team captain for 2 seasons, a key player in both NatWest Cup winning rugby sides and the Cricket First 11. He represents all of the traditional values associated with sport, as Mr. Hallows has already referred, a true sportsman in every sense of the word and a superb role model. James Taylor. We move to the Paul Satwell Trophy. Understanding the needs of others, an old head on a young shoulders, this person has been wise counsel to friends in houses across the school and a school representative on many committees. Their ability to succeed academically whilst immersed in an incredibly busy life at school is to be commended. They have thrown their all into the extracurricular life with passion. Bright, kind, thoughtful, extremely humble. A love of the performing arts has developed, and there have been some extremely noticeable successes, including being at the forefront of our successful dramatic productions. A key member of the staff school chapel choir, who also has won poetry and reading competitions, including the school's highest award, the Staff Reading Prize. She is an active member of the Debating Society, and when not in the drama studio, can be found as a member of the cadet force, and also having completed D of E Silver. The unforgettable Mrs. Lovett, Nari Williams. Ben Shaw Award. Since joining Bromsgrove in the lower fourth as a music scholar, the recipient of this award has, in the truest sense, thrown themselves into performing arts. Driven, dedicated, thoroughly tenacious in pursuit of their calling, a fine musician, a stalwart member of the chapel and chamber choirs, a headline act in school productions, and even when not performing in productions, still dedicating time and energy to the life of the drama department, co-directing when possible. In demand from both the music and the drama departments, she is versatile, committed, a gifted performer, and her dedication and hard work have recently paid off, earning her a coveted place, one of a small elite group chosen from hundreds who auditioned to train at the Mount View Academy of Theatre Arts in London. Olivia Wim. The recipient of the Kelly Bicknell Award has always been totally committed to Bromsgrove's service, having spent 2 years working with the DT community projects, helping to design and create items such as the messy play kitchen and planters for a local residential home, and tactile dice for the blind, to name just a few of her projects. Always the last one to leave a session, always willing to stay late or attend free time to see the job done. Always serving with good grace and a smile. She is supportive not only to staff, but her fellow peers, and above all, a great team builder. Alexander Evans. And so to our most esteemed award, the Cook's Prize. This year presented to a survivor, which for those of you who don't know is our Bromsgrove parlance for one who has come all the way through the school from the pre-prep. And during those years, the recipient has gone from strength to shine amongst such an impressive cohort in one discipline is exceptional. But this person excels in many. Straight A's in GCSEs, followed up by similar A-level predictions, and offers now from top universities in the land. A powerhouse in debating. A first-team sportsman, always bursting with energy and enthusiasm, but most of all, a leader, the traits of which I referred to earlier. Humility, courage, compassion, a person who will leave Bromsgrove richer than they found it 14 years ago. The very essence of our school, and your current head boy, William Lockhart. Thank you, Mr. Toe. As you have heard, Mr. Toe has just completed his final presentation of trophies in his capacity as our Chairman of Governors. He steps down from that post today, having served the Governor as a Governor for the past 12 years, the last 6 of which as a Chairman. So, like you, he too is a leaver. I pay tribute to him and also particularly to his wife Anne for letting us command so much of his precious time and for her own ongoing support of the school. As an old Bromsgrovian, Stuart Coe was a day pupil in Lupton House, 65 to 70. Even back then, he was no stranger to leadership, having been appointed head of school in his final year. And there are a number of other prescient echoes from that time as a pupil. The dining hall had just been built when he arrived in 65. He leaves having overseen its complete refurbishment. He was a serious academic, having been the recipient of the Wattell Prize for Biology and the Master's Reading Prizes, both junior and senior. Perhaps unsurprisingly then, over the past decade, our academic reputation has flourished under his, I almost said stewardship. Similarly, as a pupil, he was a member of the first 15 and also of the first 8 cross-country team, the school polo team, and the vice president of the games committee. As chairman, he has overseen significant investment in our sporting facilities and a commensurate rise in our sporting reputation. And as you heard from Mr. Hallows, that leaves us now ranked 4th in the nation. And we're not too bad at rugby either. Yet perhaps the loudest echo emanates from his early passion for the performing arts. Secretary of the Music Society and Literary and Dramatic Society, leader of the choir, and instrumental, if you'll forgive the pun, in the great run of musical successes that Lupton enjoyed in his day. So a boy of musical and theatrical ambition jumped forward 40 years, and we have a man who leaves us having just commissioned what will be 2 world-class performing arts venues on our campus. In the intervening years between leaving Bromsgrove as a boy and returning as its chairman, Stuart Toe has had a stellar career as a businessman and a community leader. I could read you a remarkable list of success and contribution, but amongst his many virtues is a strong sense of humility, and I can see him staring at me now, so I'll just jump that part. And let me say this: every headmaster prays for a chairman who is strong enough to keep them honest, trusting enough to keep them motivated, and wise enough to know when to apply each quality. Over the past 2 years, I have enjoyed steadfast loyalty, quiet wisdom, and the reassuring authority of just such a chairman. On this day, 46 years ago, Commemoration Day 1970, a young Stuart Toe was presented with the Headmaster's Prize. So I would like to reprise that act now and present our outgoing Chair of Governors and a long-time servant of the school with another Headmaster's Prize in acknowledgement of the school's gratitude, and to then invite him to close these proceedings.
So, leavers, it's my leaving day too, as you've just heard. But let's hope that in a few decades' time, perhaps you'll be back here too, having served on the governing body for 12 years. Because our lives are all about, as we heard yesterday from John Wingfield, life is all about evolution. Things move on. Environments need to change, to grow, and to adapt. Take advantage of your youth, as John quite rightly said yesterday. In an unpredictable world, the most important attribute is to be able to adapt. And that, I believe, is what we teach really well here at Bromsgrove, that adaptability. You've heard today, be kind, be tolerant. In difficult times, recognise the positivity of those difficult experiences. Embrace challenge. We heard an excellent speech yesterday from Harry Lloyd-Jones, who's sitting in front of us here. He said, do not be afraid of failure. Use it as an inspiration to succeed. To change is to grow. And we heard, without any collusion, those very same words in church today from Bishop John, from that book of heroic failures. So, from Bromsgrove, we wish you every success in the future, but be prepared to risk failure. As we heard from Bishop John, those who risk nothing achieve nothing. We believe that the education you have had here will have prepared you both for, hopefully, the successes that you find in your life, but also for the challenges that failure brings. And so, as you leave, I'd like to echo some of what the President said with a prayer called A Sense of Values. Give to us, O Lord, a sense of values and an awareness of true priorities, that we may offer to all their dues, to our parents, gratitude and affection, to our friends, loyalty and comradeship, to ourselves, the determination to produce the best of which we are capable. I hope you all have a wonderful summer, and I'm not going to keep you from lunch any longer. Thank you very much. The headmaster told me at the start of today make sure that at the end you ask everyone to stand, but you will forget, and he was right. Could you all stand to let the party leave? Thank you.